Hey friends, today we have Rishabh Rao. Thank you, Rishabh, on behalf of all of our team for taking the time to speak with us. So just let me introduce you, and then we will go into the discussion itself. So Rishabh is a BTech 2020 mechanical engineering graduate. He just finished his BTech in mechanical engineering in 2020, and currently he has joined this very interesting startup called Foyer, which is based out of Hyderabad. It's very close to where we are based out of. And Foyer builds very interesting software, including 3D visualizations for interior designers. So it's a very interesting startup. I've gone through their website, and it's very interesting. It's in a very interesting space. So Rishabh joined Foyer straight out of college as a machine learning or a computer vision engineer, if I'm not wrong, right? So in addition to Foyer, he also had multiple offers. He was offered the computer vision engineer at Evoris in Gurgaon, which works on video processing and object recognition in videos and things like that. Similarly, he was also placed in a startup called Shipments out of Ahmedabad, which tries to build software for supply chain management and logistics. There, I think your role was an NLP engineer. So amongst all these three, I think you liked Foyer the best, and you ended up joining Foyer. So congratulations. I believe it's just been a month that you joined, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I joined on February itself, like start of February.
Okay. Okay. So just join. Very interesting. Very good. And just to give the context, I believe your compensation is very comparable to what top product-based startups offer to freshers. So congratulations again. As a mechanical engineering student, as a student from the mechanical engineering, it's always very encouraging to see students like you who transition to computer vision or NLP. So
Yeah,
very interesting. So, Rishabh, I just wanted to understand the most important thing that we want to understand is your interview experiences. So, could you tell us, amongst all these three companies that you interviewed, can you give us a brief idea about what rounds you had, how much programming was expected out of you, what was the depth of mathematics asked, what about your case studies? That you've done multiple case studies as part of your self case studies at Applied AA course, right? I wanted to understand how your interviews actually panned out.
so it would start with an assignment or a coding round. Like in two of those, I had an assignment, and in third one, I had a coding round based on OpenCV and Python. So for the assignment parts, like in Foyer, I had to give two assignments which would solve their business problem itself. So they were based on that. Like in shipments, I was asked to extract data from invoices. So there was that. They specifically asked not for performance, but the approach that I would follow. So there was that. And Foyer also, I had to like build an object detector. And once it was two, there was two assignments. So for the other one, I had to do a segmentation task.
Okay.
So that was the first round.
I
Then the
believe one of
second
your
round would be
I believe one of your self case studies was image segmentation, right?
yes, yes.
Okay, good, good, good.
So yeah, then the next round would be based on this assignment itself. Like if I clear this assignment, then there would be questions from these assignments, and then the next round would be a technical discussion in which like most of the companies that I had interviewed for, they were mostly focusing on our basics. They wouldn't go into too much mathematical details. Like for example, they would ask to they would ask me to explain logistic regression from scratch. So we all know that very well. So questions were like that, and the breadth was like total. Like they had asked questions from PCA to, and then to deep learning or to deep learning to like mask RCN and so. So there was that, and then the next round would be the scalability of those assignments that I did. Like, okay, I have built a first fit solution. How do I scale it for production? So that was the next round. Then in the end, there would be a round with the CEO or the CTO. So those were actually like 3 to 4 rounds in all of those.
So it's a very general trend that we see startups following, which is they give you a task or an assignment, and based on the performance, they shortlist you. But how hard were these as compared to the course assignments or course self case studies that you have done?
They weren't exactly what I had done. Like, yeah, for Foyer, like we had done image recognition as a part of course assignment too, image segmentation, and we had also studied object detection. So, okay, we know the concepts, now we have to apply those. So, I would say if our concepts are right, then coding is not a big part of it, right? And like for shipments one, I had to like extract data from invoices. So I knew basics of NLP. I knew the even deep down NLP. And what I had to do was just apply those concepts, like use NER and also use some of the like image object detection algorithms so as to like localize the segments in the invoices. So the basic, like if you work at the basics, the assignments won't be tough at all. And at Applied AI, like we have done tougher assignments from these, so I don't think they were quite hard.
Okay, so okay, got it. Okay, makes sense, makes a lot of sense. So you said the depth of math was not too much, but you also mentioned that
Yeah,
they asked you to explain logistic regression from first principles. So
yeah.
can you just explain what do you mean by depth is not too much, but still they asked you about logistic regression from scratch?
Depth as in they won't go too much into the mathematical details of it. Like they would just cover from the like if you know the concept side, they know that you would also know the mathematics. Like for logistic regression, I explained them from the geometric perspective. I also explained like we do squishing, then we apply log over it, and then like we do those steps. So they understood that okay, the mathematics is also covered in that in some sort, right?
Okay, got it. So you mentioned a very nice point. Like this happens to a lot of freshers also, that they may not go too deep, but they would expect a decent breadth. That's a
Yes,
very good
yes.
point that you mentioned, because nowadays, I mean, even freshers are expected to know how a transformer works or how BERT or how
Yeah.
GPT models work, which is literally state of the art, right? So that's a
Yes.
good point you mentioned. So how did you
And
prepare for?
like
Go ahead, please.
yeah, like in clustering, what is the inertia? What is inertia? What is the metric that we use? So I told them about done index, and then inertia is a loss function itself. So yeah, those were the questions. Like I wouldn't say too much depth, as in I wasn't asked to derive XGBoost, like boosting algorithm itself. So something of that sort.
Okay, got it. Very interesting. So I also wanted to understand, because they would focus on the whole breadth. How did you prepare for these interviews? Because you had to revise everything from basic data analysis, basic Gaussian distribution to state-of-the-art deep learning models. So how did you revise everything before the interviews?
So like I had like made notes throughout the course. So I have like four notebooks in total. So revising was a bit of a chore, but what I would do is revise in chunks. Like for I would give it a time frame of around 3 to 4 days, and then revise the complete thing. And I would also keep revising in every 20 to 30 days. So like I was always fresh in my memory about it. There was like in before the interview, I wasn't like too much afraid because I knew my first principles right. So that's the thing.
Got it. As somebody who came from a non-CS background, your undergraduate degree is in mechanical engineering, right? So
Yeah.
what problems did you face to become comfortable with programming throughout applied AI course and also while clearing interviews?
So like it was a smooth transition. I wouldn't say it was a too tough one. The course started with Python, and I think that was decent enough to like cover the coding part. And then I would also practice myself after that. I had done the optional assignment too, so that was also interesting one. So those covered the coding part. Now, as I move on to the assignments, I would learn something new, like learn new library and stuff like that. So that would help me like improve my coding. And one thing what I'd also do is like in the case studies, in the course case studies, what I do is I first go through all the videos, lectures for that case study. Then what I do is like look at each of the concept that you have discussed. Let's say that you have discussed about data cleaning. So I wouldn't look at your code, but I would try to code it myself to get the similar results.
That's a very
So
good.
that was a bit of a lengthy task, but yeah, that helped me a lot.
No, that's a very nice idea, because you learned the concept. Now, instead of looking at the code we shared, you are like, okay, let me struggle with it, because that struggle, the journey of learning is very, very important.
Yes.
So very nice. That's a very nice exercise. We recommend some students to do it. Many of them don't do it, but students who do it certainly benefit heavily from it.
Yeah, it will take longer than usual, but it would definitely help, especially in the like machine learning part, because most of these case studies are focused on machine learning itself. So you'd be prepared for that kind of task. better.
Very good, very good. So next is what was your learning strategy throughout applied AI course, so that because you're also learning it parallel to your undergraduate degree and you're trying to finish this, and also given that you had to learn everything from basics of Python programming, how did you balance your university or college work, your final semester work, and how did you balance applied AI course successfully?
Actually, like I started in like final semester, and that time I would give 2 hours a day or something like that. But after some time, I lost touch of it. I would like the routine was messed up. So I was serious about it after the lockdown thing. So that time I had lots of free time. So I thought like I don't want to go into mechanical. I would just focus into this thing and complete it ASAP to like get a job. So what I do is I start like I used to give 12 hours a day for 10 to 12 hours a
During
day
the
for this.
lockdown?
Yeah, so those 12 hours were like I would watch 4 hours of content, and then the 8 hours would be going to the comment section and going to the blogs that were mentioned in the comment section. So that would take a lot of time. So in average, on average, I would do 4 hours content a day.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, the thing is like you prepare for a lot of depth, but actually companies don't ask for that much depth, right? Like for freshers, I would say like they don't expect much. I don't know or what it is, but I wasn't asked a lot of depth about it. So, but I was prepared for like toughest of the interviews, I'd say.
The reason we cover depth is because we want our students to be able to even crack companies like Microsoft, Amazon, etc.
Yeah.
So when you go for top product-based companies, large companies, they would ask you to derive, like when I interviewed as a fresher at Yahoo Research, I was asked to derive PCA from first principles, the whole derivation, including solving the optimization problem, everything. So again, I have asked some of these to freshers at various universities. So we are preparing you for the hardest thing that is possible so that everything else seems easier.
Yes, and I would prepare that too. Like I would practice the derivations itself
Very
to
good.
be ready for any kind of interview.
Yeah, yeah. So we should always be prepared for the hardest so that everything else seems easy. Cool, cool. So any suggestions you have for students like you, because you started this in your last semester in your undergraduate studies, and you come from a non-CS department, you come from mechanical engineering. So what suggestions do you have for students who come from non-CS backgrounds, who are either in their final year BTech or who have just finished BTech? What would you recommend if they want to transition to careers in data science, machine learning, computer vision, NLP, etc.?
I would say like firstly the passion is there, like passion has to be there to be like successful transitioning into it. Secondly, the course is like I think that the course is full-fledged, like it is a complete package in itself to transition from non-CS branch to data science itself. So just go through the course really deeply, like don't go too deep so that you don't even complete it, but yeah, go through the comment section. Go like I would go through first page of the comment section so that I would get the whole depth of it. Like there are lots of questions and lots of people and lots of doubts, so I would have them cleared for myself too, and I would write them too on my notebook. Like okay, this was the doubt and this was the answer. So there's that, and just be consistent with it and try to like what I did with the case studies. Try to practice the code itself for the case studies. So that would help a lot, and the assignments also helped me a lot because we covered basics of CNS to like advanced CNS like image segmentation. And I think the toughest assignment what I found was the attention mechanism one. So that had the deep TensorFlow 2.0 thing. So yeah, that covered everything for me.
So yeah, so we recommend all students to check out at least the top 5 rated comments under every video. And you are right, the attention assignment is slightly hard. It's made intentionally hard so that you are prepared for all eventualities. Imagine you go for an interview, the company asks you to build some attention model from scratch using gradient tape in TensorFlow. You should be able to do it. So we want you to prepare for the hardest interview so that everything feels like a smooth flow.
And yeah, the best thing is like what I'm doing currently is also like based on what I have done in the course itself. So there's nothing new as such for me. Like we have learned to code everything. We have learned to to read research paper and implement them. So it's what I'm doing right now here. We have learned to deploy to and productionize models too. So I think there's not much new to me. Like we would also go through the whole pipeline of a case study. So like we would start from data acquisition to productionization. So everything that we have learned is what companies apply in them itself.
I'm happy that it's also helping you after you've joined this startup as a computer vision engineer. So very nice. Anything else that you want to share, Rishabh?
Yeah, just one thing that this period was tough, like the lockdown period, I would lose hopes too sometimes. But I would, in the end of, like at the end of the day, you just have to be consistent with it. My strategy was, okay, the market is down right now, but what I have to do is upskill myself till the market gets to normal, and then get a job for myself. So that was the main motivation for me. Like, okay, when the market is doing fine, I should be ready for it.
Very nice attitude. Just because the market is down, you don't go down, you prepare harder. That's a nice strategy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you once again on behalf of all of our students, all of our course participants, everybody who is watching this on YouTube, all of our whole team for taking the time and sharing your journey and also your interview experiences. And all the very best for your career as a computer vision engineer.
Thank you, sir.
My strongest recommendation is continue the passion, continue to work consistently, spend at least 5 hours every week on upskilling going forward also. You have a lot of career ahead of you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great, Rishabh. Sounds good.